Alright, so today, well, I did a video last night after my Raiders lost, and so, I don't know, I really was emotional about that, kinda, you know what I mean? Like, they're not in the playoffs and whatnot, so, I can't see them until next year. However, I was on Yahoo, and I saw a couple of stories about players being fined, so I figured since I can't really, you know, get any more information about my Raiders or whatever. I mean, I could, but not this kind of information. That's just, to me, ridiculous. So I have the articles up, and so the first one I wanted to talk about was Stevie Johnson being benched for what they're calling a New Year's celebration. I mean, to me, this is retarded. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's rules in the NFL and all that, but here's my thing, right? Well, okay, wait, I'll tell you my thing after this one. The other story is about Marshawn Lynch, with his Skittles cleats, right? So those are just the most recent ones, and so I'm sitting here like, really, you know what I mean? Like, I understand there's NFL rules and things like that, but come on, man, like, this is crazy, because it's like, do you check this kind of stuff before they leave the locker room? Or, you know what I mean, do you, I guess, like, really, just do you check this kind of stuff before they leave the locker room? I mean, because if you did, clearly you would have caught this, you know, beforehand, and it wouldn't be this big old deal. And, you know, so I'm just like, wow, like, seriously? I mean, these are football players, for one, that we're talking about. These are not high school basketball players or high school sports teams. Like, these are actual people that are making money for doing what they do. So why can't somebody send a message of Happy New Year's? I can see if it said F you or something of that nature, if it was profanity or if it was derogatory, but come on, it's Happy New Year's, for goodness sake. Like, seriously? So yeah, I really don't know about that. And I mean, I was reading some of the comments that people were writing. Let me see if I can find one. So I guess this isn't his first offense, Stevie Johnson, but hey, I really tend to focus on the games and not so much the attire. I mean, I could see if he was, you know, wearing a half shirt with that hanging up under it, but whatever. So here's a pretty decent comment. It says, I agree with all the comments made on this topic. Let's get real. There's no real harm in a professional athlete showing his skill, but giving the fans attention as well. It's reasons like these that justify the lockout last year. And I mean, really, like I said before, I understand there's rules and things, but geez, like, can they live? You know what I mean? So then here's another one. I'm not gonna say no names or whatever, just because I don't know these people personally. So and it says, I don't like football, never have cared about it, but this seems ridiculous, even for a ridiculous game. If he had any obscenity on his shirt or something deriding the other team, I could see the need for punishment, but Happy New Year, come on. And that's pretty much where I'm at, you know what I mean? He wasn't being disrespectful in any manner, besides the fact that he was not following the rules, you know what I mean? So, really? And I think that's it. Like, all these other comments are really like, this really like pissed some people off. So, you know, I'm gonna try to keep my calm for those people, because this is really ridiculous, like I said again. And so now I'm on the Marshawn Lynch posting, and I mean, they don't even, in this article, they don't even talk about the whole fine ordeal, besides the fact that, you know, he was fined $10,000 and someone else was fined a lot less for a late hit. So I don't know, let's figure that out. But besides that, the whole article talks about how good he is at what he does, which is playing football. Like, come on, seriously? Like, are we really gonna start just nitpicking so that players don't get to play? Like, if that's the case, then let's just have a flag football team and you can come in your street gear. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I don't understand. Period. So, let's see. Here's a pretty good comment from someone. It says, considering Skittles probably paid him $20K, I don't think he minds. Plus, it's the coach's responsibility to make sure his team is in uniform, or at least one of the 18 coach assistants. If you've ever worn a school uniform, I'm sure you've put your own creative touch on it in some shape or form. And I mean, this is true. Although we're not dealing with a school here, we're dealing with the NFL. I mean, seriously, you check your players. If you're that worried about it and you know this person has done things like this before, then why don't you go the extra mile and do a check? You know, why don't y'all meet like hours and hours earlier so you can check everyone's gear a couple hundred times before y'all go out on the field? Like, seriously. And so here's another comment. It's pretty much being sarcastic, but it says, I was about to tackle the guy for a loss until I was distracted by his shoes. Like, really? Because if that was someone's excuse, then they probably should be benched, because obviously they're not paying attention. Anyways, here's another comment that I like, probably the last comment that I'll read. But it says, did they check out the brand of underwear they're wearing too? $10,000. Wow, I hope it goes to a charity. Then it would be worth these guys stepping out of uniform. Otherwise, what a bunch of Indian givers. Pay them so much a season, then fine them, so in the end they work for minimum wage. And I completely understand where this person is coming from, because football is football. You know what I mean? It's about showing out, you know, athletically, but I mean, gee whiz. Even people at Taco Bell get to have a little fun, so why can't these people? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, come on, there's better issues to worry about. Like, honestly, in my opinion, football is becoming more and more tedious, and people are complaining more and more about little stuff, and soon it's not gonna be a sport. Like, there's gonna be no sport in it. Like I said, let's just give them some flags, and you know, we can have flag football, and then any age can join, because all we're doing is pulling flags. So really, let's get over it, guys. But that's all I wanted to talk about. Like I said, my Raiders aren't in the playoffs, so I really just look for anything interesting to talk about, and hopefully this was interesting for you all, because it was interesting for me. Like, I find it funny that you're complaining about this guy's shoes, yet the majority of the article is talking about his good sportsmanship and how good he is as a player, and how he can fit into any team or whatever the case may be. And I mean, Jesus, a new year, golly, like I said, can they live? Like, so that's my take on that. And just really trying not to show my anger towards that. That's just retarded to me. I understand there's rules. I'm not saying disrespect the NFL rules, because yes, it's like a job, but at the same time, it's not your typical job. You're not, you know, serving customers. You're not dealing with customer service skills when you're out on the field. You know what I mean? I mean, kind of you are, but kind of you're not. So I don't think telling people Happy New Year, or, you know what I mean, I don't think them advertising for their favorite company is wrong. It's just my opinion. And so I agree with everybody else. If you're that worried about it, if it's that big of a problem, check your players before you leave the locker room, and then check them while they're on the bench before they get out to go play. Just check them. If it's that big of a problem, why don't you do something else about it? You know what I mean? Like, period. clearly I knew somebody saw this before he got out on the field. Clearly they did. I'm pretty sure that he didn't just switch right before he was told to go out on the field. So anyways, that applies to both cases. And I don't know, it is what it is with that. That's my take on it. And I'm just saying, please do not let football become some sport that a fly on the wall can play, because if that happens, nobody's gonna watch it and you won't have football. So deuces.